Okay, this audio opening might be a little different because microphone problems. Anyway, everything that happened in the video already happened. I'm doing the opening now because I didn't have my fortune cookie book to do it there at the salvage yard. So I'm going to read the fortune, tell you a little bit about what already happened, but what's going to happen in the video, and there you go. So today's fortune is easy. Ambition knows no obstacle. So ambition knows no obstacle. So if you're ambitious and you want to do something, don't let anything stop you. There's no obstacles whatsoever. Challenges, yeah, but obstacles, no. You can go over, under, around. You can do it if you really want to do it and it's something you really want to do. Anyway, today I go to my happy place. Happy Valentine's Day for everyone. This was recorded on Valentine's Day, but don't worry. Sharon had to go to her office, so there's no time taken away from her on this Valentine's Day. But I went up to my happy place for looking for parts. Only one part for the minis, which is the trim ring that I lost in the car wash a few days ago, about a week or so ago. But mainly I went for the Subarus. Now, our Subaru have been having, I believe we have the dreaded CVT solenoid fault. It comes up a generic code if you don't have a good reader as P0700. If you have a very good diagnostic tool, there's a number of different numbers that come up. Your car is going to have all kinds of lights on the dashboard. We don't have the lights, knock on wood. However, our daughter's car has the lights. She has the same. I put the scan tool on it when I was up there changing her wheel bearings, and she's probably got one or the two different solenoids in her transmission valve body is bad as well. So I went up to the salvage yard. The following video you'll see it, but just to give you a little heads up, I found two. I pulled those valve bodies. I bought them, and yeah, I'll be testing them out. And I do have some replacement solenoids from Dorman, and I have another one that's a no-name brand, but I may replace those solenoids and then do the swap outs of both of these, keep ours, the ones I take out, and maybe rebuild those and have them shelf ready. So anyway, watch the video, check it out. I'll try to, narrow it down so it's not too long, and enjoy. Okay, today, happy Valentine's Day right off the bat. I'm filming this on Valentine's Day. And of course, why not come to one of my happy places? Now, don't be alarmed. Sharon had to go into her office, so I'm not taking away from her time. We'll have time later on this afternoon. Today, I'm in my happy place, not for minis, but for Subarus. This is a 2016 Subaru Forester. My last video was on Subaru, and I replaced my daughter's rear wheel bearings. However, we both have issues with our CVT, not so much the CVT, but the solenoid, the valve bodies. So a valve body brand new with new solenoids from Subaru, somewhere $800, $900. It's windy out here, so you might shake a little bit. But anyway, but a valve body here in the salvage yard is $70. Now I got tools, I've got my multimeter, I can test them, but there's also available solenoids. So Dorman makes them now, so they're a little bit better quality than the initial ones. So what I proposed and what I'm gonna do is find me maybe one or two. This one should be good, but maybe I'll get this one and another one and test the solenoids probably before I remove it, I'll test the solenoid, and that one that goes bad most of the time. And then if it's good, I'll remove it. I will take it home, test everything, make sure it's nice and clean, and then I'll swap it out and keep the ones that I pull out, like when Sharon's, I take hers out, I'll rebuild hers, put it on the shelf, and I'll have a hot standby. And if it lasts, like I said, our car's got almost 300,000 miles. My daughter's got, I think, 135,000 miles. If it lasts another 135,000 or 10 years, no problem doing it myself. So saving on labor, saving on parts, and that's the only way to go. So let me show you this car real quick because it's horrible. But yeah, and then I'm gonna get to removing, and then I'll go look for another one. Again, this is a 2016 Forester, but actually, I'm gonna show you the back here in a minute, but it's only like half a Forester. Look at that, the other half is missing. So I don't know what hit this car, but front end wise, I'll take it. Let me show you the engine compartment. Engine's pretty much intact. Of course, not the front end or anything, but how you doing? Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. Okay, here are the two connectors for the, on top of the valve body. The valve body sits under here. So you got to remove this ground out of the way, this dog bone out of the way. The cover here is two 10 mil. Get that out of the way. And, but I can disconnect and test here. But actually, I want the valve. I'm not going to test it right now. I'll test it when I get it out. Okay, there's a few things I've done that you hadn't seen, but it's not rocket science. I took the throttle body off just to give myself extra room. I took the bolts out of the dog bone, or the, it's like a stiffener bracket. It helps keep the engine stiff. And so I took the bolts out, throw the bracket up there. That gives me more room. Now, on the on our Subaru, we only have two 10 millimeter bolts that hold this cover in place. This one seems to have 3 or maybe 4, but it's in such bad shape. I'm just gonna cut the bottom end of it and get it out of my way. I'm not gonna reuse, let me not do that. I'm not going to reuse it, so I can pull it out of the way. I also sprayed some penetrating oil in where there's 2 dowel pins, just to, oh, here we go. I can pull it out. Okay, yeah, see, it had 3. One here. No, it's only 2. Oh, it ripped. There was 3. But anyway, so it ripped, and this is not going to be reused. Anyway, so there's access. I got to take this ground strap off. I've taken this one loose. I got the bolt out of the way. We'll get this out of the way. Now, when you're doing your car, you got to make sure you put these ground straps back, because it's internally grounded. The valve body itself with the solenoids, they're internally grounded. So if you don't have these grounds back on, it's not going to work. So anyway, all right, let me get these undone here. Get that out of the way, and I'm going to take this bracket out of the way. I do have to remove this bracket, and let's see what that is. That's a 14 millimeter. So we'll get that out of the way. I need to get one of those small, like, electric ratchets. That would really help with some of this. Okay, it's got to get broken loose. That would help with some of this clearance issues I have with this big, with my big impact wrench. Okay. It's not captured, so it's got to have both two sides. Okay, I've unplugged the 2 plugs here and here. I've got to take this bracket off so I can move both of these plugs out of the way over here. And then it's a matter of taking all of the 10 millimeter bolts plus this ground here is to 10 millimeter as well, I think. I'll verify. Yep, that's a 12. Okay. That's another one of those ground straps that you got to make sure that you put back in place when you're redoing it. The gray one stays attached to the lid of the so that comes off when you take the lid off, and it's just 10 millimeter bolts. There's 2 all the way in the back, so a small 10 millimeter to break it loose, and then a flex head will help. But just small. But if I didn't bring a small ratchet, but just do that. Okay, I didn't want to bore you with taking out all the bolts. 12 bolts, or little bolts. They're this size. There's 12 of those, 10 millimeters. Now it's just a matter of popping the lid off. And remember, there's 2 dowel pins, one right here in this section and one over here in this section. Now, if I were at home working on our vehicles, I would spray this whole area with brake clean, and then use my little pancake air blower to blow it out to make sure it's all clean. because you don't want anything falling in your transmission. This is a salvage yard and I'm not taking this whole transmission, so I'm not too concerned about it, but I will kind of get, you know, I'll be careful. Let's say that. I'll be careful. However, once I complete this job, I am going to close the hood on the car, and but debris can still fall in there because it's going to be open. I'll probably place the lid over it just to be on the safe side. So let's see what we can. Oh, I can do that. Put this screw in, a couple of screws. This was just a ground. Well, it is moving a little bit, so we'll see what we can accomplish here. I got a small hammer to kind of tap it. I think that was the complaint from most people. There's really nothing to pry on this valve cover here. On this, yeah, well, it is a valve cover because it's a. Well, I'm gonna bang on this and get back with you guys. Okay, a little bit more persuasion. And again, this is just telling me I think I need to come up with a tool, an invention. Now, I got it popped free, as you can see. And this is the harness, and I could have tested in this wiring harness here, but I've gone this far. I'm gonna take it out. And you just unplug it. There we go. So you pull this out, cover, and that's where it plugs in. The book also tells you to test the continuity between this and this, just in case, but 9 times out of 10, not likely to be a problem. Now, there is the valve body. It looks very clean, of course, because it's been hidden all its life. You have to take out, there's 7 black bolts and 2 silver bolts. You see the black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you take out the silvers that are up here and down here, almost in line with the 3 black bolts. And then that'll get your unit out. So. And they are also 10 millimeter, so I'm gonna get those out. Let me put my tools away, but I'm gonna get those out. I'm gonna use my hand ratchet here to break them all loose. They're not tight, they shouldn't be that tight. They're long, but they're not tight. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the bolts. I know where they go, and see how long they are? The black are all the same size. The silvers are all both the same size. So you don't have to worry about which one comes out of which hole. All right, okay. I got my nitrile gloves on because it's gonna be messy. And it comes out as such, upside down. Now, I'm doing this on this cart because it, you know, like I said, it's not our car. We're not using the motor. And you can see just the empty cavity. Let me see if you can see them. Well, I'm not gonna zoom in, but there's two O-rings, one up here and one here. When you go to replace it, replace those O-rings. There's a gasket here. You need to replace this gasket. And there's two dabs of silicone that go in this gasket right in here. They got slots for it. RTV silicone. That's where the two halves of the transmission bolt up, and you don't want the possibility of a leak right there and right there. So I will put this cap back on because I don't need this. I'll just sit it back in place to try to keep that clean. If somebody wants the transmission, it's probably a good transmission. I'm going to assume the car was running when it got crashed and had the people get extracted. I'm going to stick this in here on top so that when I close the bonnet, the hood, it doesn't, well, you know. Anyway, it's good work habits. So I did bring a couple of large plastic bags, and I will sit this in my large plastic bag, and that's it. I'm gonna put this throttle body. I don't need this one. Do I want a spare throttle body? No. Oh, it's a hard one. I'll carry it around and I'll decide if I want to buy this. It's dirty, but it's a newer year. There's no way to, well, let me see. Does it say how many miles on this car? Ooh, it's got high mileage, 187,000 miles on this car when it was crashed. It was dispatched as a crash. So anyway, let me clean this up. I'm gonna gather up my tools, gather up these bolts. I don't know which ones I'm gonna take, but you know, I shouldn't need any of them. Maybe a couple of the cover bolts, because I did strip two here, so I hope if I strip them at home, but we'll see. Again, I got my parts, but I wanted you to see this place again, how big it is. So I'm gonna take a slow look around. Okay, this will be my second victim, I guess. It's a 2017 Forester. Don't know the mileage. They didn't put it on there, but here's the info there. It's got a nice wing back there, but we don't want to take that. Anyway, it's a front end collision. Bunch of side damage as well, but got smashed pretty bad. So I am going to collect underneath there the valve body. Anyway, all right, let me do this. You don't need to see it. If I got any issues, the engine looks like it is pushed back a little bit. I know it broke the stiffener, the cross stiffener, or engine stiffener, or dog bone, whatever you want to call it. I can see it's broke, so that got pushed back. But everything internal should be fine. All right, let's get this out. Just as a side note, I may come and get these lights. These are the LED tail lights here, and both look in very good condition. I believe they're a plug and play, but I'll find out. I may go ahead and get those. I think I'm fortunate here. I got the tailgate lifted on this one, so I'll put my tools right in there and be able to work relatively comfortable. That's a stiff tailgate. It seems to be holding, so I'm good to go. Okay. Here's a quick tip for you Subaru Forester owners. I don't know if all of them are like that, but in the back hatch, if for some reason you can't get it open, battery's dead or whatever, here in the junkyard, of course, there's no batteries in here. So I took the cover off of here, and this little knob right here slides to the side. That's your unlatch mechanism manual. So I crawled into the back of the car through the back seat, took this cover off, and manually undid that right there. Open the hatch. Now I have access to get the tail lights. Okay, I'm going to close this one out right here. It was not an issue. Tapping it with the small hammer knocks that cover loose. It doesn't do any damage. It doesn't dent it or anything. And it just kind of, and spraying it when you first see it, spray it with penetrating liquid there on the pins, just the pins. And then by the time you get to it, they're fairly loose. Anyway, the only issue I had with this one was that everything was shoved back and up. So I had less room between the top of the transmission and the bottom of the tunnel on the car. So I could barely get my hands in there. However, I mean, you could see that with the dog bone being broken. However, that also allowed me just to move, just to get everything out of the way. The air conditioned hoses was already loose. Yeah, so I got all of that stuff out of the way. And it was, like I said, there's a few tools I would probably try to get, maybe a small 1/4-inch ratchet, which I have one in the storeroom, but I didn't think to bring it. But anyway, but other than that, slow and steady. The flex head 10mm box wrench was perfect. That was the savior to getting that out. Anyway, here's the throttle body. I'm gonna put it in my plastic bag and head home. Yeah, you could all of this is all bent up as well. So yeah, it was horrible. So looking in the back, there's a family that was in this car. There were family pictures. I hope everyone was safe. I hope the car did its job. All of the airbags deployed, side curtains, all of that. So hopefully the family with this car was safe. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank y'all for watching, and come back again. There'll be more, and have fun with your Minis and your Subarus and whatever else you come to the salvage yard to do. Have fun. All right, I'll see you guys.